Hello and welcome back to the Positive Principle. I am so glad that you are here on this journey with us. You are about to come back, if you are a returning viewer, to an 8-week journey where myself and my colleague Polly Wyram, who you are going to meet in just a second, are coaching 4 people for 8 weeks to change their life using positive principles. Positive principles are tools that you can use in any area of your life to change your life for the better. Change your finances, change your relationships, change your abundance, change your inner relationship with yourself, every single thing. So we are so happy that you are here. We'll talk a little bit more about exactly how the show works and how you can be involved in the show. But first, I want to introduce my incredible colleague, Polly Wyram. Hey, Polly.
Thank you, Max. And I love working with Max. I have so much fun with him. So thank you. And we have an amazing cast. And so this week and coming up to this past week has been amazing. Lots of learning. And I am an intuitive life coach. I love working with people. I love helping people find an easier way to live their life. We don't have to have these struggles. And so it's really, making life easier. And I love it. Back to you, Max.
Sure. Thanks, Polly. One of the things that we wanted to do, because you're going to get to know the cast members, their lives so well, we wanted to share a little bit about us, because we really feel that, as a coach of myself, I really believe that one of the things that helps my students and the people that I work with is to see what I go through, that I use the same things that I teach. I only teach the things that I know and that I've worked with. And so it'd be nice for us, for you, to get to know Polly and I a little bit better. So we thought this part of the show at the beginning would be a good time to let everyone know a little bit about what our last week was like, and maybe a lesson or two that we've gone through. Right, Polly?
Absolutely.
So what about your week, Polly? What happened with you?
Okay, so for me this week, one of the things that I really like in my life is I like to keep things simple. I have found that simplicity makes I move. My life is easier when it's simple. And so several things came up where I had to decide, okay, does this fit in my plan or does this not fit in my plan? And thankfully, I have wonderful supportive family and friends, and so I can easily talk to them and go with how it feels, and I get rid of what's not working. I also had the pleasure of some people contacted me last week from the show where I did free mini readings, and I have the pleasure of doing that with them, which I love, and so thank you. But it's been every week is a good week.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love it. Thank you, Polly. I mean, we can all learn from that. I mean, every week is a good week, and the little things are counts. And so let me just tell you a little bit about my week. My week was a little bit about, I just sent a newsletter out saying that it's not what happens to us, it's how we deal with what happens to us. And I had quite an intense week myself. I actually care for my dad. My dad is elderly, and I help him out. And my dad had to go into the hospital, and I had a whole 4 days planned. I will only say her name once. I won't keep saying it again, but I'm a huge Marie Osmond fan. And I was going to go to Reno and see my friend and go see Marie Osmond. It was going to be this day, a week of just hanging out and chilling. And then, but sometimes life happens, and my dad had to go into the hospital, and we tried to work it out so what my sister could help or I could help or something like that. Well, it didn't end up happening that I could go, and of course there was disappointment, but then what? I had to just say, this is a great time. We only have so much time with the people that we love, and I feel honored to be able to have the time to help him out if he needs it. So even though I needed something, he needed something a little more, and it turns out it's all going to work out anyway, because in a couple of weeks I'm going to go see Marie Osmond anyway. So it's all good, but ultimately it's not what happens to us. that life sometimes throws you a curveball. Say yes if you ever have a curveball. Yes. And so I got a curveball, and I just said, you know what? I'm going to change my meaning of this and see that it's not such a disappointment for me. It's more about spending time with someone I love. Right? So that's my catch up. Are you all there? Do you hear me?
So should we talk about?
Sure.
Yeah. Should we talk about how the show's going to work?
Yeah, definitely, because people need to know a little bit more about how the show is going to work. Go ahead, Polly.
Awesome. Okay, so we've got these 4 fantastic cast members that all come with unique gifts and unique things that they would like to bring change into their life. And then you have Max and I, and we are working. We each have 2, so it's like a team. We have two teams, or 2 teams of 2, right?
Yes.
But not only that, we also depend on the people that are watching the show. And even if they're not watching it live, they're watching the recording of it, because there are polls that you can take, and the polls that you take help us decide what principles we are going to share with the audience. We really want the audience to read like the blogs of what the cast people are going through, so that you can really see how their lives are changing. Because we only have an hour, and an hour does not show exactly the hard work that they're doing, because each of them are working an hour with either Max or myself, and then they get these tools, these lessons that they're going to bring into their life, and how are they implementing them, and the changes that come from this. And they're huge, and it's not like something like you put the shoes away in the closet. They learn these tools, and it changes their life. They think about when they're driving to work, they think about them when they're at work and what they want to change. And so there are these great things that cause changes, but we need the audience to recognize it, so it can cause some changes in the audience's life also. Right, Max?
For sure, Polly. Well said. And one of the things about the show, the mission of our show is that, this is here for the viewers as well as the cast members, because we have on the website, thepositiveprincipleshow.com, we have a specific tab called Viewers Resources. And the Viewers Resources for each week has an assignment that you can do yourself that's very similar to what Polly and I are teaching Heather and Angelica and Jack and Mary Beth. We're teaching them very similar things. So you can go on the viewers resource, just like after today, we will post a couple things. And so you can be doing these things and asking those questions to actually help you in your life along with all of them. So it's really important. And yeah, the blogs are great. So please go to their blogs. They've been doing great jobs, a really great job. And you get to see, I love it, because now you're getting to see everyone is so unique and they're so different and so interesting. So I would encourage all of you to go do the polls and then read the blogs. And also, I haven't done it yet, but a couple of people have sent me a few people have sent me some comments from last week about your vision. And we're going to actually post those, because I was asking for permission, so we're going to post those. So in the coming weeks, we're going to be able to do that even more. Okay?
And
so
yeah. Oh, I just wanted to add that the blogs, the way that our cast is sharing is so candid. They're sharing so much of themselves, and I am honored that they're doing that, but I also applaud them, because their ability to open up and share it shows their ability of creating change.
Yes, I agree. And you know what I always say, is your vulnerability is your strength. Your vulnerability is your strength. And the more vulnerable you can be, the more you're willing to grow and shift and change in your life. So I thank you for saying that, Polly. Great. So why don't we, I think we should just do an introduction of the cast, and so everyone can say hi, because the people watching probably are tired of listening to us talk.
That's right. Max, do you want to go first?
Sure. So just so everyone knows, this is a little bit like it's a reality show, So we have teams, just like The Voice. So Polly's got 2 people, and I have 2 people. And the first person on my team is Angelica. Say hey, Angelica.
Hi, everyone. What's going on?
Hey, Angelica, what's your favorite color?
Favorite color? Gold.
Gold. Thank you very much. Cool. Hey, Angelica, I'm glad you're here.
And I'd like to introduce Mary Beth. And Mary Beth, I'll ask you the same thing. What's your favorite color?
My favorite color is green.
Awesome.
Nice. Good. All right. And my next teammate is Jack. And Jack, I'm going to throw one on you. What's your favorite animal?
Oh, it's a border collie, of course.
Of course, I knew you were going to say that.
I wrote a book about them, man.
I love border collies. Thank you, Jack. Welcome.
Okay, Heather, what is your favorite song?
Oh my God, great question. Okay, The Rose by Bette Midler.
Oh, nice.
It's yes, first song I ever sang, and I just love that song. Love it.
Love it. Cool. Love it. Well, welcome everyone. Give yourself a round of applause. Woo. All right, now, so we're going to get it today. Now we're going to get into doing the reflection of the work that we did with Mary Beth and Heather, Angelica, and Jack. So, but we're going to just do a recap about what we talked about last week. So last week, our positive principle was you are the architect of your life. And in many ways, this idea is about how you are building the vision of what you want your future to be. So that was the whole idea about what we worked on in our private sessions with all of the cast members. And what else do we want to say about the architect of your life, Polly?
Well, Max, I would like to bring, so as we teach these tools, because each week will be a principle, which is basically a tool that you bring in and it helps create ease in your life. So everybody is going to use these tools differently, and that's the cast people are going to use them differently, the audience people. Max and I agree on the tools, absolutely, but we might use them with a different twist. And it's good to recognize that, you know, somebody can't tell you, you know, this is how you have to meditate or this is how you have to use this tool. It's not. It's a very personal thing, and that's the beauty of you being the architect of your life. It's your life. Yeah. And you take these tools and use them how it best fits you.
Thanks for saying that, Polly. I love it. Good. So Polly met with Heather and Mary Beth, talked about their version of the architect, and I met with Angelica and Jack, and we talked about that being the architect. And so let's just get right into it. We're going to talk to the cast right now. The first question we're going to ask everyone is, what exactly did you work on with your coach? So Angelica, we're going to go to you first. What were the things that you and I worked on together in your session?
Well, we worked on a lot, but to name two, one was to recognize the fear voice and to, when you hear it, talk back to it and just say, thanks for sharing. So it's like you're eliminating the fear that's coming into your mind. And then another thing was that, you know, we could feel anger, we could feel like anxiety, but it's not us. We feel it, but like that's not who we are. So we could always change our feelings.
Those are deep things that we talked about there, Missy.
We did.
Now I'm interested. Just really quickly here. I like it, and actually this did have to do with the vision in some ways, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is interesting because this is going to come back to our positive principle that we're going to do for next week. But the fear voice, that fear voice. See, I have a tattoo, fear, and the other tattoo is love. So Angelica, this fear voice, you were being more aware of this fear voice this week, right?
Absolutely.
And what?
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Well, Angelica, we all have the fear voice, right?
Right.
Yeah. What kind of things does your fear voice tell you?
It'll just like put into my mind, that'll never happen. That'll never happen. Oh, that can't happen.
Oh, good. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. It's the voice of doubt?
Yeah, so it's sort of like whenever my dreams are like talking big, like I want that, and then it'll say like it won't happen, like you know what I mean?
Yep, for sure. So it's helpful for you to be aware of it now.
Absolutely, because
Right.
then that way I could eliminate it with like resetting it with what I want.
Oh, good. Very good. And you also, and Jack did too, you also listened to and went through my whole video law of attraction course, right?
Right.
Right. And that helped it too, right?
Absolutely.
Good. Lots of little things in that one, right? That are good.
Definitely.
Good. We'll talk more about that. Good. So thanks. So for you, there was a lot of that. What's my mind doing? What's my mind saying? And how to reframe that, right?
Absolutely.
Good. Okay, great. Thank you, Angelica. Cool. Holly?
Mary Beth, what would you like to share that you worked on this week?
So what I worked on this week with you, Polly, is my career. That was something I mentioned in my blog, that is an area that I'm working on right now or trying to move forward in. So what I worked on this week was focusing and identifying the things that I don't want, the things that I do want, and the things that I have to bring to the table in a new career. So it was just, we made lists, and I did a lot of soul searching on what I really wanted to have and what my dream job would include. So that's what I really worked on the most this week.
And when you were doing the thing where you were looking at just briefly what you don't want, and then you put it out of your mind, and you really focused on what you do want.
Yeah, my list for what I don't want was really short, and I went immediately to all the things that I did want.
Awesome. And then the other thing that I think was helpful for you, because you have a history of doing a lot, a very rich life, is recognizing what you bring to your future career.
Yes, that was an area that'll come up later, but that was a little bit of a challenge.
No. Okay, give me, here you're on the spot a little bit, 3 fabulous things about you that you're going to bring to your new career.
Probably just that I like working with people, and I'm really good working with people. Probably organizational skills and problem-solving skills.
Awesome. And that's awesome. And it's good. Those are huge things that employers will value, and you're also very dedicated. So I love that.
Definitely.
So thank you also for going on the spot like that with me. I appreciate that.
Thank you. You're welcome.
I love it. Good. Okay, so Jack, we had a great talk this week. We talked about a lot of different things. So what do you want to share that you worked on, what we worked on together? What would you like to share with the viewers?
Well, Max, back in the days of my youth, I was a reasonably good mountaineer. Mountaineering is in my family and all that. And you pulled it out of me. You said I used a mountaineering metaphor, like life is, a peak, a climb up a peak to the summit. And you said to me, why don't you define your vision as the view of the summit? So if the viewers will read the blog I wrote, that's pretty much what I wrote. And what amazed me, and it truly amazed me, was I've churned this concept, this idea, for so long that all I had to do was say, okay, go, right, and the concept came down. But there's the I don't want to call it a fear voice, but the negativity was very much what my family in South Africa under apartheid would say to me when I would say, yes, but I am going to be free. And my mother would roar with laughter. She said, look, there's the Indian Ocean, there's the Atlantic, and there's the Antarctica. You don't like South Africa? Start swimming. And, well, it might sound a bit, it might sound a bit humorous now, but back then I needed to be free. I absolutely had to be free. And the view of the summit, my hopes to have 10 acres of land with two border collies and a small bale art studio and stuff, is now as remote as as freedom was under apartheid. It's a long way away, and the problem is I'm now 69. I turned 69 2 weeks ago, so you know I know I'm going to live a long time still, but you know I'd better hurry up and get stuff done.
I love it. I want to tell you one thing. This is really big. Thank you so much. It's so great. I mean, I love when we found a metaphor that worked for you, and it was great. But yeah. I want you to remember that there's one thing that in A Course in Miracles it says, there is no order of difficulty in miracles. We always put a timeline or a difficulty factor on certain things. So just let that go. It could happen in a couple of weeks. It could happen in a couple of years. You have no idea. Right. You know what I'm saying, Jack? You get that?
But I know for certain if I can take the idea, the wall is built. It just has to be completed. I've taken the idea, I've put it down in a fixed format. Now, as you say, I need the miracle of land, the miracle of a partner, and the miracle of a straw bale studio. Okay, snap.
Yep. And here's the deal. Having the vision and being able to put it down first is the first step. So that's the most important thing at this point in our journey, and I love it. We also talked about a couple of other things that really turn you on, that made you feel really good this week, and that might come up a little bit later too. Okay,
yeah.
So
Max, can I just add something quickly?
Sure.
I was going up to Phoenix on Sunday with my next door neighbor. We went to the Phoenix Art Museum and one thing and another, and she started talking about land. She's just become a realtor, and she says, I've got a dream. And I said, what's that? Owning some land and forming a community of people who, I said, but that's just what I've written about. So
you have just proved the law of attraction, mister. You have just proved it. That is exactly what it is. All you have to do is get clear, and then you have no idea where it's going to come from. It might not be exactly it, but everyone here, say yes if you see exactly what just happened with Jack.
Yeah, I do.
Yes. Are you all there? Are you frozen? Are you there? Are we there?
Yes.
Okay, yes, good. I mean, I have to underscore this for just a second. This is big. This is big, Jack, because you just wrote it down, and just a couple of days later, someone comes up and says, "Hey, what about that?" Well, that's amazing.
Yes, no, and maybe. My inner, not the fear voice, but the inner prudent voice says, "How on earth could this possibly happen?" She's a realtor. She's going to need money in the bank, no matter how influential she is. She can't just go out and eminent domain 10 or 15 acres or something. That's not going to work.
So all you need to do, that's the voice that you need to say, la 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 la. The only thing that you have to, and everyone watching here, I want you to see this. When something like that comes up, you go, oh my God, it's evidence it can happen. There's evidence it's going to happen. It doesn't matter if it is the exact thing, but it's evidence that it can happen. The other part that the ego voice, the part that thinks without love, will go, how is that ever going to happen? Blah, 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 blah. That's none of your business, because you don't know if this is going to be it or it's just evidence that it can happen. That's all the universe, God, Spirit is giving you evidence that you can have your dream. You can have your dream. That's what it's saying. Okay, Jack?
Okay, many thanks, Mac.
Okay, thank you. I love that, Polly. Isn't that awesome?
Well, yes, and I want to add that the more you start using law of attraction, oh my gosh, little things happen all day long. I mean, they just do, and it's important to recognize the small things as well as the big things, and then you kind of have to pick and choose because you put it out there all these wonderful things, and then you kind of have to pick and choose what way you want to, what you're going to take,
Right.
because you're going to have different options. But it's so true. I mean, Jack, that's phenomenal. And phenomenal that you brought it up so that everybody can recognize that and value that, because it's important to value it.
So good. So good. Thank you. All right.
So now on to Heather.
Hello. Mm-hmm.
So Heather, what did you work on this week?
Oh, wow. A lot. This was a big week. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
Fantastic. Great to hear. Polly, one of the things we worked on, which was really phenomenal, I do very well with writing things down. We worked on an affirmation as far as livelihood. I've had some concerns, about going forward in my life after sort of taking, I would say, like I mentioned, a 2-decade break, because I was sort of checked out with depression. And we really talked about this week about being awake, like all of a sudden sort of waking from, like Rip Van Winkle, and here I am awake. And now the exciting thing is, oh my goodness, I get to create, by being the architect of my own life, a new life, it's extremely exciting, and that it's all happening now. We worked on that. I wrote down the list, really helpful, the contrast and clarity, where you write down all the things you don't want, which I did, and there were a lot of things in my livelihood. For me, I don't want to be fenced in. I don't want my, but the great thing is then the clarity is removing all those don'ts and what I do want. And that's when I really thought the magic sort of started happening this week. Reframing the way that I say things and process things into something more positive. Even with, hey, look, I've been sick this week with bronchitis, whatever, end of the flu, like cough. But instead of saying, oh, I don't want to be sick anymore, it has changed to, I am becoming healthier each day. I am, and that's the switch. And the same thing too, just real quickly, it came up too with an interpersonal relationship, with me thinking that, oh no, my energy, my vibration is getting weighed down by the energy of others. And what we worked on, Polly and I, was the whole idea of changing that around and sort of sending love and light to anyone that I thought was bringing me down. And I will tell you something, by sending that love and light, wow, what a shift. What a shift. And so there's more of that vibrational match. I'm not allowing it to drag me down with others, or, and I had to mind my own low vibration. Oh, I'm having a lousy day, I'm coughing my head off, blah, blah, blah. I had to sort of stop and go, you know what? I'm getting better. My lungs are clearing of this crappy virus, and I'm getting better. So it's been an incredible week. You know?
And you, right off the bat, the affirmation that you wrote, we were able to turn it into, you're already doing that, right? Because you were anyhow, you're on that path. And so maybe the next day or something, I think I texted you and I said, how are you supporting that affirmation? And immediately you gave me 2 things that you are already doing that you want in your future.
Yes. Because that's the whole thing, Polly. It's that immediacy of saying, okay, it's here. It's here. And that's the big paradigm shift. So even with a challenging week, with it, sort of similar to you, Max, the challenging week with, health concerns, and you had a big week. But it's amazing when you're sort of saying, okay, in the process now.
Yeah.
And so, wow, very powerful.
I mean, you already were doing some of the things that you wanted in your future. So you already brought it into the now, which is phenomenal. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. Very exciting.
I like it. Awesome. Thank you, Heather. All right. So now I'll cough. One of the things that I believe is one of the best and most important ways to learn and to grow is to look at what challenges that we've had and what things that have kind of not worked and have been like, oh, I need more help on this. Usually when we have a challenge, that's the place where we have the ability to grow most. That we have the ability to like break new ground, to crack open from some kind of a ceiling in your life. So the next part of today, we're going to talk about, what were our challenges for this week? What were the things that you were like, eeks, I don't know if I can do that, or oh my goodness, this is really pushing me beyond my boundaries. Or maybe it's just this new method that we talked about with my coach, but I'm not sure if I'm getting it yet or not. So we're going to talk now about all the cast members' challenges this week. So let's go right to Angelica. Angelica, what were your challenges this week?
I'd have to say two of them. One was matching my feelings to my thoughts in order to generate like what I want to manifest it in my life. And two, it was also getting the fear voice to just be quiet. It was just constant, like it just kept coming back, and I kept going back at it and just kept saying like, thanks for sharing, and it kept creeping in there, and it was to the point where I was like, oh my God, I'm on this negative vibe, I need to get off it. And then I would get upset that I was on a negative vibe, but then I was just like, oh my God, stop, like just stop. And then I was even like at work, and like obviously I don't have my notebook to like practice like or write down affirmations, so I was even like printing out like on the register, I would like print out like receipt paper, and I just kept writing my positive affirmations, and even my like coworkers are like, what are you doing? And I'm like, just writing stuff.
Love it. Great. First of all, Angelica, that's so creative and that's so good, and it shows such dedication to changing your mind, because I had talked about with you during our session, this is all about reminding, shifting your perception over and over and over, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know, because most of us, this is what happens, most of us go through the world, and we're not even aware. We just go, oh, that's or now I'm angry, now I'm happy, now I'm sad, now I'm angry, now I'm over here, and we just sort of go with that all the time, and so that is why we have undisciplined minds and we have crazy results in our life, really. So for you to be so creative and saying, I just got to stop this, and doing whatever you can. And I am a big proponent in doing whatever you can to get out of a negative vibration. And I mean, if it's writing it down, if it's singing a song, if it's going outside and going for a run, if it's whatever it is, because whatever you're feeling in this moment is what you're going to be creating in the future. So I love that. I think that's really great. And you know what? I told you earlier in the text that I was sending you, you said, how do I just get rid of the fear voice, right? You said that, Angelica, right?
Yeah.
What did I say to you in the text?
You said it'll never go away. You just train yourself to think more positively, and when you do finally have that down, you don't hear it as much. It's not like that consistent, and it's not that constant. It's like every now and then.
Exactly, that's true. It's just like going to the gym and you're working on your biceps. You just have to keep going back and doing the curl, and you do the curl, and pretty soon you can do 50 pounds, and you're like, it's all good. But until now you're doing, and all of you are doing the grunt work at the beginning of changing your mind. And like I said, the fear voice never totally goes away, but it can get very calm down. It starts to, what happens with the fear voice, and I'll just say in the Course in Miracles, they would say that's the ego. And everyone here, just so you know, the ego from a Course in Miracles point of view is not like from the Freudian point of view. It's not that ego. The ego is the part of us that thinks without love. That thinks without what?
Love.
Love. So it's thinking without love. So it's just thinking in terms of competition, in terms of stress, in terms of managing and organizing, and it's not thinking with love. That's all, you know. And so that part of us will always kind of be there on some level, but we can just kind of love it back into being okay with everything. So good for you. And let me just ask you this, Angelica. You said matching your feelings with, what did you say at the beginning?
My thoughts.
Your feelings with your thoughts. Talk to me
With
more
words.
about that. Yeah, talk to me more about that.
Because you could say something, but like if your feelings don't match it, it's not going to manifest, or at least not manifest as quickly.
Very good.
You know what I mean? You could say something, you could say, oh my God, I'm positive, I'm positive, I'm positive, but like if you don't feel it, and that, or you could say like, this is going to happen, but if you don't feel like it's going to happen, it's not going to.
Very good. I love that. And this is a big thing that a lot of people deal with, and most everyone deals with it. And it's really talking about, oh, I feel great, I feel great, I feel great, and underneath you go, I want to kill myself. You know what I mean? So that what's on the surface is saying one thing, but the underlying vibration is saying something else. And so you're talking about matching all that, right?
Yep. And then
Yeah.
if they're different, that just cancels out.
It does, and it sort of does. But we can start by saying things. That's fine. As we move further along, and Polly will agree, we're going to teach you methods to address your underlying vibration, so it gets calmer, it gets more full of peace, and more full of joy. So then, when you say it, it's true. Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Yes, and I wanted to say that, like what Max was saying, is like right now you guys have the learning curve, right? Because you're learning all these new ways of looking at life and new ways of expressing yourself and thinking about how you're feeling. It gets so much easier, and you know, I find, you know, my life, because the people I surround myself with, and just the way I look at life, my life is so much more peaceful, and I don't even have to think about it. It just is. And part of what you did when you had the affirmations that you were writing down on the sales receipt slips, that is doing, you know, that is basically doing the same thing, because you're reminding yourself constantly of what you want. And right now you do have to remind yourself. You're not always going to have to remind yourself, because you will create a life that supports your peace, supports your vision, supports the direction that you want to be. And it's all about, that's what we're doing right now. We're learning how to create that life and how to support that life. So that's fabulous.
I love it. I love it. Cool. Who's next? Thank you for that.
We've got Mary Beth. So Mary Beth, what was the challenge for you?
Well, I had a couple things too. The first one was, we just touched upon it lightly, was coming up with what I had to bring to the table. And that just comes from, I had like a 6-year period that I wasn't working. I was a stay-at-home mom, and so you kind of lose all the things that you used to use when you're working. When you're in it's just a totally different role being a mom than being in the workforce. So I think there's some lack of confidence there that needs to be built. So yeah, I was just struggling with what do I really have to bring to the table, you know? So that was one area that I really struggled with. And then the second one was focus. Just because I've had so many things going on in my life and so many stresses that it was hard for me to focus in on the career part of my life. So that was a challenge for me too. And also because I just really don't know at this point what I want to do specifically. So it's like I don't quite have the vision yet. I don't see myself doing anything specific. So that was really challenging, because I feel like I need to have that vision of what I want to do in order to be focused. But I'm just trying to just go through the process and follow the guidance of you, Polly, and figuring out what that is that I want to do. So.
Well, Meredith, did you get some concrete ideas of knowing what you want in your career? What you want?
Yes.
Okay, because that's key. Because the career will find you, but you have to have concrete ideas of what you want in your career. And, you know, it might be a stepping stone, which I think we talked about briefly. You know, you might not, your first change might not be the one that's the best fit. It might be a stepping stone, but it's knowing what you want and recognizing that. And also for you, really recognizing your strengths. And, you know, it's similar to what Angelica did. You could write those down so that you look at those all the time, because I think it's really important for you to remember your strengths and what you are going to bring to this perfect career.
Right, and I think the idea of a stepping stone is a good one too. That I don't have to know exactly right now. I just have to be moving forward.
Exactly.
Yep, and I always say the form will find itself.
Yes.
So it will. If you go for the feelings and the qualities, the form will find itself, and then you'll go, wow, I never knew I wanted to be a poodle groomer. Whatever, I don't know, but the form will find itself. I love it. All right, so we're gonna move. I'm aware of time, everyone, just so you all know. So we're gonna go on to Jack. So Jack, why don't you share something that was a challenge for you this week?
Well, it wasn't just a challenge in the past. It continues. It's my same old bugbear, finances. I had an unexpected expense on Sunday. It all turned out very well the whole of Sunday, but the rest of the week has been worrying about what the bank manager is going to say, and the fellow might even be watching the show. He's a very nice bank manager, but he's getting a bit impatient with my balance. But that aside, I think, Max, when we speak again offline, we should. I think I'll turn around. If I'm at the beacon, at the summit, I think I'll turn around and say, okay, the 10 acres is what I'd like for recreation. The view of the summit going the other way is the view of a corporation or my my plans and my my work. And I think I'll write it down. I've been trying to think of the author. She wrote this book, The Artist's Way.
Julia Cameron.
Thank you, Julia Cameron.
Yeah.
And she said there's a spiritual interface between the power that lies beyond our brain, the hand, and the pen in the hand. Note, I'm a writer, there's my pen, right? And there's the interface. And that's a very powerful interface, or very powerful, once you've written it down, not typed it down, once you've written it down, hand on paper, then it gels, and a lot more issues can resolve from that. So I think that's that's what I'm going to give myself, is a view of the summit of the corporation or whatever that's going to hire me as a technical writer.
Okay, great. I love it. I love it. And I love the money is a challenge, and the money mindset is a challenge for a lot of people, and that's okay. And so I just love how your mind works and how you go to you kind of solve a problem as soon as you talk about the problem. I love that, Jack.
Well, I am an artist, and artists are supposed to be problem solvers. So
that's right. I love it. That's great. Thank you for sharing that, Jack. Good. All right. I'm just letting everyone know we need to go pretty quickly because we're at about a quarter to the hour.
Okay.
So let's move on quickly into our next few. Go ahead.
Heather, what was your greatest challenge this week?
Excellent question. Fear and doubt. Fear and doubt. Those little twins that sort of, it's interesting because in the work that we did and an incredible experience that I'm having with all of you and learning, it's always the fear and doubt. They're like these little monsters, and it's like, chip, chip, chip. So, I think it's that infiltration of fear and doubt, and learning how to sort of, I love what you just said, Max, about how the fear may always be there, but it's in the calming of it. And I often think, this is interesting as well, just very quickly, I often have sort of like a health crisis when I'm on a learning curve. And I find this is really interesting. It's funny, music, I was talking with Polly, the dream with music, but it's also about healing. And I find it interesting that it's my scratchy throat this week, and sort of what is, that whole throat chakra. What I think is, it's almost like the clearing out of the cobwebs. So the biggest challenge where it is like, literally, so that can be cleared, and so I can move on. So that's been the challenge, the fear and the doubt, and to sort of quell that, so it doesn't paralyze me like it has in the past. I am not the past. I am right now. So that the challenge is to remain in the now. And here I am.
Well, sure. I love it.
Well, and that's great, because that's 3 of you that have mentioned the fear and doubt, which Max and I can register that. So that was good. Thank you.
Yeah,
Great.
for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's move on. The last thing that we're going to talk about before we talk about the new principle is that quickly we want everyone to talk about one amazing success they had. It could be a revelation. It could be like a, wow, oh my God, that's amazing. Or it could just be like, whoa, I feel different. So everyone, let's talk about a success that you had this week. Angelica, you go first.
The success I had this week was a realization in your video where you said how you could be positive, but with your feelings, you could turn it into a negative. One thing you actually made an example, which hit very close to home, was you said that if you make a vision board and you focus on it, but if you focus on it in a way where it's like, oh, I wish I had that, you're not going to manifest those things, because your feelings, that's negative. It's like you don't intentionally mean it to be negative. You know what I mean? You're not saying, oh, I'll never get that, but you're saying it in a sad way, so you're getting bad vibes. But if you say it like it makes you feel good, like, oh my God, yeah, I want that, I'm going to get that, you will get that because you're feeling about it positively. And honestly, it hits so close to home, because in my past, I've made 3 vision boards. I've made 3. I've went to AC Moore, I've gotten the words opportunity, hearts, and changed a $sign to $1 million. I've done it all. And now it just totally hit me, because every time I look at it, I would think, oh man, I want that to happen, but I don't know if it's going to. You know what I mean? So now it's totally dawned on me why, it didn't work.
Yeah, good. I love that. It's exactly like I also say in my videos. I say it's like when you really want to have a boyfriend and you see someone with a boyfriend, you go, oh, she has a boyfriend. And instead of doing that, you go, she's got a boyfriend. That's what I want. Totally different. Totally different. So thanks, Angelica. That's a big one. Thank you. All right, who's next, Polly?
Mary Beth, what was your greatest success this week?
I think just a shift internally, looking at all the positive things that are in my life and all the positive things that I do have to offer, and also just a shift internally in focusing on what I really want. I really have made a severe shift in focus, and that's thanks to you, Polly, for being persistent to keep my focus. And so I definitely have refocused, and I'm focusing on the things that I need to focus on, the things that I have the ability to change.
Well, thank you, but I also like the fact that you're recognizing the positive, right? That you are recognizing the positive, which is huge, because when you recognize the positive, you're bringing all this, more positive into your life. So, hallelujah. Good job.
I love it. Okay, Jack, what's your success for this week?
We spoke about some 3 things that I hadn't gotten done that was still so without disclosing names or anything. There's one of them. The sketches I did on envelopes. I had to get hold of this fellow. He was a client of mine in New York. He's now the CEO of a major corporation, and I wanted to remind him that I was around and admired what he'd done in book selling. And so I put a sketch on the envelope, and I'm mailing it off to him, and that has been hanging for a good about 10 to 12 months. So I finally got the bloody thing done. And there are 2 more of those that one is already done and another one. But Max, I know we're short on time. Just one major thing that happened to me on Sunday. I was in the Phoenix Museum of Art. Unbeknownst to me, they have an exhibit on Leonardo's Codex. And for the first time, I saw the master's handwriting, and on the right-hand side in the column, there was a sketch done by Leonardo. No other hand could have done it. And the chill went up and down my spine, up and down my spine. It'll change me, I know. It was marvelous.
I love that. That's beautiful. I love that. That reminds me of the first time I ever saw a real Van Gogh, and literally a real Van Gogh, you know.
Yeah.
I almost passed out. Passed out. It was so overwhelming, and I started to cry, and I almost fell over, and my friend caught me because there was something about the art that overwhelmed me. It's so beautiful.
Just to see the marks that Monet or Manet or Van Gogh made, and only one hand made them, it blows my mind.
It's beautiful. Thank you for that. It's a wonderful success, and good for you for taking action on something you wanted to do for a long time. Yay! Let's everyone give yourself a round of applause.
Woo-hoo, Jack!
All righty then. All right. So, all of you, we're all so proud of you, right? Right, Polly?
Wow, absolutely. I mean, this is really phenomenal, and it's exciting to see the change.
It's exciting. So as we do each week, we're going to present to you a new positive principle that we're going to work on for the next coming week. And so this positive principle number 2, is the power of love. The power of love. It is one of the, I mean, to me, you can't do this work without the power of love. So, Polly, do you want to start from your point of view of what the power of love is?
I would love to. So one of the things that I always talk to people about is self-love, and that's almost self-explanatory. But the other thing that I really think is so important is if there's somebody, some situation, something in your life that you're not happy with, and maybe you don't have the option of saying, okay, I'm never going to be around that person again, or I'm never going to have to go to that job again, whatever the situation is. The ability to send love, to send light, to send ease to that situation, that person, or maybe if you're sick, sending it to your body, sending that to it daily, as often as you can. That intent is huge. And it's the intent of sending the love, because people send love different ways. I visualize sending it, but some people might want to write a song about that person and, read it throughout the day. People do different things, but it's the intent of sending love. And then it's like this negativity pull that you've had around that person opens up. There's more ease. And it doesn't just affect between you and that person, you and that job. It affects overall in your life. It's this love. It's this accepting of things that you're not asking for change. You're not asking them to change. It's sending this acceptance and this love. And one last thing that I'm going to say, when it's somebody, like somebody's working with a person that's causing difficulties, sometimes you have to imagine, okay, I'm sending love to the core of them. I'm sending love to their spiritual being, to their highest self, and move beyond so that you're not thinking about, okay, I'm sending love, and you're seeing the physical package, the person that annoys you, that you don't want to hear talking anymore, right? You're not sending to that. You're sending to their spiritual being, to their highest self, to their, their spiritual self. Okay, Max. I'm done.
Yeah, very well said. Very well said. And I have a whole program about love. I think love is the only thing that's real is love. That's what the Course in Miracles would say, is the only thing that's real is love. And everything that's not of love is a call for love. So as we go through the world, one of the most accessible healing tools we have is love. And love is the highest vibration there is. Okay, so that's why they say, God is love is God, whatever. It's the same thing. And we're not talking about romantic love here. We're talking about the peace and the perfection of the universe. That love, that relief, that kind of that feeling. We're not talking about, oh, I love you. That's fine, but it's not. We're talking about love, that peace, that complete abandon of anything negative, that is all flow. So I always say that, it always starts at home, and all we have to do is to remove the blocks to love's presence. And then Polly did such a great job in talking about how we can use love to help to shift our perception about things, because the world is just a reflection of our own perception. So I believe strongly if we start using love more consciously in our life, by consciously saying, love, 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 love. All you have to do is say the word. I'm telling you, you just have to say the word. But there's a million ways that we can use love to shift our. And this actually comes back to what Angelica was talking about, touching on our underlying vibration. If you underneath here, you're feeling fear and anger and jealousy, but on top you're saying I'm okay. But when you start to use love, it starts to heal all this underneath here. It starts to heal that, so you feel calm, you feel peaceful, you feel joyful within yourself, And so one of the things on the viewers' resources, and all the cast members are going to get too, is a couple of videos that I have. One videos, it's about a half an hour, and it gives you, I think there's 7 or 8 different ways to use love. And I'll just share one of them with you right now. It's a mantra. And this mantra has really changed my life, and it's a mantra that just says, I love myself, I love my life. I love myself, I love my life. And I would give everyone that's watching the homework assignment, if you choose to, for the next 7 days of when you wake up in the morning before you get out of bed, to say to yourself, before you go to, oh my God, I got to do this. I'm late for the bills, blah, 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 blah. I love myself. I love my life. I love myself. I love my life. And you don't need to even believe it. Just say it. Okay? So the power of love is our positive principle for this week. Right, Polly?
It's awesome, and it changed my life.
I love it. It's great. All right, so that's it. Now let's quickly. Sorry, we are going to go over just a few minutes, and that's okay. Let's get our takeaways from everyone. Angelica, what are you taking away from tonight's show? What stands out for you?
For me to sort of just like be more at peace and feel like what you just were talking about, like with being at peace and being like, even if it's not like, oh, I love you, but it's like feeling love versus like feeling like anxious and fear.
Good. Thanks, Angelica. Good.
Mary Beth, what are you taking away?
I'm taking away that I'm not the only one that has fear and doubt. But we don't have to let that take over our life. We can overcome that.
Awesome.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Jack.
Well, I'm taking away, you pulled it out of me, and that is the view of the corporation, the view of the summit of the corporation, and I'll develop that into a sketch or into a vision. And you helped me do that, so it's not just because I said it, but it came to mind because of you.
Well, we're all working together. Thank you, Jack. Good.
Heather, what are you taking away today?
To quote John Lennon, Love is the answer. You know that for sure. And that's the mantra. I think, yeah, that's definitely it. That's it. He'd be proud of the show.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
You know what I mean? That's what I get from this. And there's the mantra, and it really just sums up love. Love is the
Yeah.
answer.
That's great because it'll change your life. Thank you.
Well, thank you everyone so much. We're going to wrap up here, and I just wanted to, again, Polly, they're doing such a great job and just jumping in, aren't they?
You know, I am. I'm so excited, and I'm really, as I always say, I'm honored. But it's really nice to see the shift that has already started.
In 1 week.
Awareness. Yes.
In 1 week. It's amazing. Great. So we're going to, Polly and I always have some special prize or something to offer all of you at the end of the show. And let me just tell you all, if you are interested in doing private coaching, I offer free positive result strategy sessions. You can go to attractpositiveresults.com and you can go onto the coaching page. And we will talk, and I will have a 20 to 30 minute positive result strategy session. If you're ready to change your life, you're ready to dedicate yourself to really making the shifts to have the life you want, I am here for you. So you can go to attractpositiveresults.com. And today, the first 3 people that contact me on the either on Attract Positive Results or the Positive Principle Show contact page, the first 3 people will get my Money, Meaning, and Magic program for free. It's a 3-hour program, and it's got worksheets and everything. It's about money, meaning, and magic. So the first 3 people to contact me and put into the subject line money, meaning, and magic, I will send you that for free. And Polly, what do you have to share with everyone?
Okay, what I want to share is the first 3 people that contact me, they will get 50% off a coaching package that I'll do 3 phone calls with them, and really intense coaching like what I'm doing right now with Heather and Mary Beth, and it'll only be for 3 weeks by 50% off.
Awesome. Great. Good. Well, this has been a wonderful show. I just feel like we are on a roll now. And
Absolutely.
everyone, all the viewers out there, please participate in the polls. Actually, we're gonna try to put up a couple more polls this week, and all the resources will be on the viewers resources page. So, as we say, Polly, what's our tagline?
4 people.
8 weeks.
Changing lives.
Let's say good night, everyone.
Good night and thank you.
Good night. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Night.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night and good job.
Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to turn it off. We're just going to go with the flow because there's a little freezing on my end. So we're just going to keep laughing and happy.
It's all about the love, baby.
It's all about we love, love, love. Love, love, love.
No, that says live, not love.